April with the Home Care Entrepreneurship Academy. Today we're continuing our 5-part series on having a quality home care agency. So today we're going to discuss client satisfaction, how to keep your clients satisfied, basically how to retain your clients. Retaining your clients is going to be very important because clients are your bread and butter of your agency. Your caregivers are going to represent your company and your clients are going to pay your bills. So we're going to discuss today ways to keep your clients happy and also how to determine how your agency is currently doing or will be doing once you open your agency and retaining your clients. So first, let's start with the client turnover rate. Client turnover rate is the percentage of clients that leave your agency, no different from a caregiver turnover rate. So there's a specific formula we wanted to let you guys know of how to determine your client turnover rate. So first, let's start by showing an example of how to really calculate your client turnover rate. This is a proven formula that's recommended to determine how you're doing as far as client satisfaction. So the client turnover rate is going to be the number of clients that stop services divided by the average number of clients you service over the last 2 years. So let's write that out. So stop services divided by average number of clients. And that is your client turnover rate. Hope you guys can see this. So one more time. Your client turnover rate is going to be calculated by your stop services, the number of clients that stop services divided by the average number of clients. To determine the average, you're going to take 2 years of service and determine how many clients you serviced for year 1 and year 2. You're going to divide that by 2 to get an average. So for math purposes, we're going to make the numbers pretty easy. So let's say for the years 2020 and 2021, you had 40 clients divided by 2. So 20 one year, 20 the next year, divided by 2 is an average of 20 clients. So let's say you have 20 clients, that's your average. And 8 clients stop service. So out of total of 20 clients, 8 of them said, hey, your agency's not working out for me. I think I'm going to move on or maybe not have an agency. So you take the 8 clients, oops, just broke the chalk. 8 clients divided by 20 equals 0.4. And of course, 0.4 equals 40%. So that means your client turnover rate is 40% for your agency. So whatever your numbers are, just apply the same formula to determine your turnover rate. The average client turnover rate is about 56%. It increases the bigger your agency gets. So the more clients you get, people are losing more clients. And that can come just for having more clients, the number increases, but also it has to do with quality. Next, we're going to discuss the things that clients complain about that cause them to leave an agency. So what are the pain points that clients are reporting that are making them decide, hey, this agency isn't working for me. I think it's time to move on. So one of the first things that clients complain about is rude office staff. When a client calls your office and needs to speak to a scheduler or you, either maybe about their schedule, maybe about an issue with the caregiver, are your office staff being rude on the phone? Yes, Mrs. Jones, what is it now? Or are you being cordial and respectful of your clients and taking all their concerns seriously? So that's the one thing that leads clients to get upset. Having rude office staff answering the phone, or when your supervisors are going out doing visits, how they're handling your clients. The next issue that clients complain about that will allow them to leave an agency is caregiver-client compatibility. This is going to be one of the most important things that you need to do when determining which caregiver to send to a client. Are you matching up based on skill set, based on location and hours? Are you matching the client and caregiver up based on the skills that are needed? It's very important to send caregivers who are able to do the job, right? You don't want to send someone who's never worked with a stroke patient or knows nothing about, the signs and symptoms of dealing with strokes or aftercare to a client who's had a stroke. If you need to do that, you need to train them appropriately. So that's the number 2 thing that clients complain about. Number 3 would be caregivers not doing a good job when they're at the client's home. Unlike when someone's in a facility, there isn't a bunch of staff and supervisors around at a client's home. The caregivers there one-on-one, and oftentimes caregivers are on Facebook, playing on their phone, scrolling on their phone, or sleeping or watching TV while on the job, instead of interacting with their client, instead of having companionship time, talking about, their families or their lives in the past. So you should be doing supervisory visits to help curb the situation, and also have policies in effect where your caregivers know that it is against your policies for them to conduct themselves in such a manner that's not a good representation of your company. Another reason that clients leave agencies are late caregivers or no-shows. If your caregivers are consistently late, consistently not showing up for shifts. So you have to develop policies and procedures to try to curb these trending issues in the home care business. This is a big issue with caregivers not being reliable, so you need to make sure you're hiring reliable caregivers and have things in place such as GPS systems for clocking in and out to make sure your caregivers are arriving on time. And the 5th issue that clients complain about is having too many different people in their home. Seniors absolutely hate having more than 1 or 2 caregivers they have to get to know. Now, of course, if it's a 24/7 client, it's going to take 6 to 7 caregivers to staff that case. But what we're talking about here is when there's constantly a new person coming to their home that they've never seen before. Every week there's a new caregiver because your caregiver retention rates are low. So that means caregivers are leaving your agency at a high rate, which means you have to send a new caregiver to your old client. And this is something that they really dislike. So you have to try to keep continuity of care, sending the same caregivers as much as possible. And if you have to switch a caregiver, give the client a heads up that, hey, Mary may not make it tomorrow, but we are going to send Susie, and she's just as great. Sometimes communication can resolve all of these issues. So there it is, guys. The top 5 ways to upset a client and how to prevent them from leaving your agency, how to calculate your client turnover rate, which is a proven way to measure your success within your agency. So thank you for joining the Home Care Entrepreneurship Academy for another lesson on sustaining a quality home care agency, and we hope to see you again here soon. And don't forget to join our Facebook group as well. Have a great day.